These things I'll give, I'm recording it actually. Gentlemen, these slides and all, I'll give it to you. Excuse me, when you make a request from browser to server, how the request actually flows. You all have some fair ideas on that, right? Excuse me, excuse me, instead of me putting some drawing, I'm just using my old slides. All these things I'll give it to you. Right. Now, this hypertext transfer, what you people do, right? That is a standard through which we can exchange messages. Okay, we are actually trying to exchange the state. एक object का state. Okay, we are sending a state of an object from one process to another process. There are several ways to exchange the object state. One is SOAP, Simple Object Access Protocol होता है. Okay, through that we can exchange. Next is REST, Representational State Transfer. REST stands for Representational State Transfer. I have to transfer the state from one place to another place. Okay, so REST के लिए APIs है. How do you transfer the state? Either as XML or as JSON, right? So that depends on the handshake, what media type you want to exchange. Media type. JSON is one media type. XML is a media type. Is that clear? So initial handshake, the browser will tell I'm expecting JSON. The server will tell I don't have JSON, I have XML. That's called a handshake, negotiation. There will be negotiation. I have this only. So priority, these people will tell I'm expecting a JSON. If XML is coming, you should accept XML also, right? So that's how the negotiations will happen. Now, when you look at how you make a request, you all know you give your scheme here. What is your scheme? HTTP, HTTP secured. HTTP secured is what? HTTPS, right? WS, which is WebSocket. WebSocket secured, WSS, right? Or what else you have? UDP, right? FTP. Those are all schemes, right? So your REST protocols works on HTTP. It is stateless completely, but we are trying to exchange the state of an object. So you are going to have, so you can see I just have this XYZ, cat, all these are segments, path segments, how we actually use this, right? You should know the verbs, HTTP verbs, what get means. It is actually mapped to your CRUD operation. The CRUD operation. Get, which one will work from your query? CRUD is CRUD. Okay, get means select query. Post, insert. Post is insert. That means you are creating a new record. In CRUD, create is post for you. Okay, retrieve is get for you. Getting it right? Okay, delete is delete. Then what is put? Update. That's all. Okay, update is put. Apart from that, you have some more things. Patch, where you'll do a partial update. Okay, so some partial data you'll send. Based on that, I'll try to update. For example, I have an object which has around 17 properties, but I'll send one 3 or 4 properties using which only the update should happen only for those properties. The client won't be carrying the entire object. They'll carry a portion of the object and that portion has to be updated. Okay, that's where the patch will be used. Of course, there are a lot of HTTP verbs available for you, but the basic HTTP verbs which you people have to be familiar before working on any REST APIs. Okay, whether you're going to be a REST client or a REST producer, okay, you have to know the basic get, put, post, delete, right? And it's not only a web API what you're going to use. Okay, you have tons available in the market, I told you, right? Fast API, somebody was telling you can use Django on the other side, right? Or you can use a normal MVC itself here. WCF REST APIs are there. End of the day, REST is passing JSON or XML or normal HTTP text through the wire. We are just trying to exchange the state. So what is there on the server, you won't know because you are just using the browser on the other side. All right, gentlemen? Here it is. I have a browser and I have a web server. What is a web server? We don't know. It can be a Django. It can be your fast API, right? It can be a Flask, right? Okay. So you can't hear? I think disturbing. Okay. Now, remember, before ASP.NET Web API was developed by Microsoft, service layer development was done in WCF. We used to do so much of WCF mentoring. Okay, so that is a huge topic by itself. And later, okay, WCF was actually used for SOAP protocol. It would have been mentioned somewhere here. Yeah, here it is. It's mentioned. It is for SOAP protocol, right? Okay. Now, if you want to work on SOAP, WCF was really doing well, right? On the other side, okay, Java side, you did have frameworks, okay, which was actually helping the SOAP protocols, the web services using Java. That was also really doing well on the other side. It was competing well with WCF. But WCF, it was a huge hop. Okay, so that means hardly, that means competitors, okay, fell short of the infrastructure facilities what WCF gave. And WCF is one of my favorite, okay, but that is not there now. Okay, it's almost dying. ठीक है जो जो मेरा फेवरेट है वो जा रहा है मार्केट से ठीक है so now by the time what happened so before SOAP REST existed REST representational state transfer to transfer state through HTTP that existed but suddenly to transfer the object state we came to WCF and WCF survived for some time and later the amount of data getting exchanged on the wire became huge. The density became huge. The frequency became huge. Then SOAP was not the answer because of the extra information what SOAP carries, right? So this was lightweight, sending information as JSON, sending information as XML. This was much lighter compared to the usage of SOAP. So we came back to REST. So you should know something like SOAP is a newly born baby which is getting crippled. Is that clear? So we went back to REST. Okay. And now suddenly REST. So many infrastructures were developed on top of REST. Okay. You all have used Node.js. How do you make REST APIs? REST. How do you expose REST through Node? Express. You all used Express. That is for REST. Okay. Fast API, Django, Flask. Getting it right? ASP.NET MVC without view. It is REST. Right? Okay. And we have a proper infrastructure which maps your HTTP verbs, which is called as Web API. Right? So we have something on top of this. So when to use ASP.NET, when to use WCF, but WCF is almost not there now. Okay, the current, now today I'm discussing on almost the last day of 2023, right? Tomorrow also you have? No. Okay. Now the media types. So you all know the MIME types, what you exchange. There are so many MIME types. If you look at the list on w3.org, you'll see all the MIME types which can be exchanged. It's not only just the messages what you want to exchange, right? There is an extension which can go on top of it. Multi-purpose internet mail extension, the MIME types. Okay, SOAP was looking like this. Right, when you want to send a message, SOAP had an envelope, SOAP had a body, SOAP had a fault section, right? The payload is always given here, but there are some extra information which would always carry in SOAP. Is that clear? See, when you want to send a request, ID is 1001. How do I send that in REST? How do I send that in SOAP? How do I get the response? How do I get the response in SOAP? So SOAP was a little heavy. I'm just showing you just ID 1001. If I want to send the employee object, excuse me, somebody is speaking. Right, gentlemen? SOAP, right. Okay, representational state transfer. I'll share all these slides with you all guys, but I'm not running it in the class. It kills time. Too much time is killed. Can I move ahead? How SOAP looked and how REST looked. Okay. So, these are the things you people have to know. When you want to work with REST, if your network is not working, you should not blame REST for that. You're getting it right? Okay. It's like, there is a guy who tells, I don't trust doctors. I don't take treatments from doctors because my elder brother was killed by a doctor. How did your elder brother die? He died in an accident. Then why you don't trust the doctor? The doctor was driving. Okay, so it should not be like that. Okay, network is not working, right, gentlemen? Network is not working. Okay, so don't blame your rest for that, right? The latency is zero, the bandwidth, you should have infinite bandwidth. Okay, so you have a secure network, all these. So these are the assumptions you should have when you want to work on rest. Okay? Okay. For every hit, you have to pay this much, then you lose a lot, right? You want to get the weather report. Okay, they tell first 10, 15 hits are free for you. After that, they charge 1 paise per hit. But that 1 paise itself goes in thousands of dollars finally, right? Okay, okay. These people will tell, need not pay 5,000 rupees per annum. We'll make it simple. Pay 400 rupees every month, right? So, we people fall for it. Okay, right, gentlemen. Okay, so these things I'll give it to you. You all read this, gentlemen. How you actually exchange messages. Hypermedia as the engine of application state. Okay, so this means whenever you actually hit a particular URL, you're just going to get set of links through which you can work on this, right? So this is how we grew. What is POX? POX क्या है? अच्छा जी, POX, plain old XML data, what we used to exchange. So that is XML over HTTP. Then you had URL tunneling, where you used to develop syncs. There are sync programs, right? In one sync, you will add a certificate thumbprint. In the other sync, you will encode the data. In the third sync, you will encrypt the data. Getting it right? So you can create, so URL tunneling is there. Just look at tunneling, you'll get an idea, right? And then the methods came out for us, right? Get, put, post, delete, mapping. Okay, then the exchange of hypermedia. The links will be given. When you click on that link, you download this. When you click on this link, you go to the other page. Getting it right? The HTOs, have a look at it. Okay, so that is one thing what I want to show you. Both side. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll see a simple example first. If I run this, it'll take too much of time. Okay, because I thought of putting all those one by one. Instead, I thought, let me give that slide for you. Okay, integrated with this, what we discussed, right? ठीक है. You all are there? ठीक है जी. अरे 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 कुछ गड़बड़ कर दिया. I'm not able to copy this. Yeah. So whatever we discussed, I just put it in this and give it to you. Right? Okay, आगे चलते हैं हम. क्या हो गया जी? सब ठीक ठाक है? So I'll go to Web API directly, or I can take empty Web API from here. Which one will go? Empty Web API? Sure? अच्छा ले लो. Okay, so I just want an empty Web API to work with, right? So create karo. On day 11, this is created for you. Everything is ready. Abhi dekho, there won't be view for you. You will have controller, you will have model. You simply don't have a view. Is that clear? Now one more change you'll see. Look at the route. You don't have controller slash action. There is no action now available. Could you see the route? Okay, so that is absolutely fine. Next one. Let me add a controller. I'm adding a controller. Okay. The controller, what I want, it's not this controller. I have to go to Web API. Now I'm trying to add Web API controller. See, when you add a controller, normal MVC controller, which was a base class used? For every controller, there's a base class. Which was that? Home controller. Upon इतना controllers create किया ना? Base class क्या था उसको? Controller. It was controller. Now when you come here, the base class changes for you. What shall I call this as? I'll call this as home controller. Home ही दे दूं. Okay. So I'll call it as home controller, or I'll call it as employee controller. Now look what happens. The base is not controller now, it is API controller. Is that clear? The base is an API controller. आगे चलूं? You all are there? हाँ जी. I didn't copy. Okay, leave it. I thought of copying that client name, Rahul, सब कुछ था ना. आपके लिए जॉन जेन भी चलेगा ना? ऐसा नहीं पूछना कि जॉन कौन है. हमको भी पता नहीं है. So, just have a look at it. Now, I thought of copying that data, guys. I missed it. I'll go to the model section, add a new class. I'll call this class as employee. इतना नहीं चाहिए, we'll remove this. ठीक है जी? Just copied it. Okay. हाँ जी. So यहाँ पे आओगे, तो you'll get those from models. मिल गया? So we'll just have some 3 of them. ये तो ठीक है. Okay, so as usual, you'll bring Sachin and Rahul. काफी है? रहने दो. So कुछ डिपार्टमेंट में हैं ये लोग 10, 30, 40. इतना काफी है. इतना काफी है ना? Okay, now I'll show you something. Now you have to bring the action. Now you have to bring the action. What will be the name of the action? The name of the action, you can directly give the HTTP verb's name, or if you give some other name, then you have to add an annotation to it. Should I use the verb name first, and then we'll see how to actually change it to something else. So let me use, I go to employee controller. Now I have an action. Could you see what is the name there? Right, gentlemen? Okay, that is your action. Now when you use get, it is automatically get. When you tell post, it's automatically post. I hope you're getting it. Get, put, post, delete will work for you. अब इसको verify करना है. How will I verify? See, there is no view now. So that means if somebody makes a request to this web API, we are just giving what? We are just giving the JSON. Okay, so let us run this now. यहाँ पे तो कुछ भी नहीं है. I'll make a request to API slash कंट्रोलर का नाम क्या था होम था ना एम्प्लॉय था so this is a get request अरे एम्प्लॉय था ना 1 minute please slash controller पहले क्यों गूगल पे गया एम्प्लॉय गलत था आई डोंट नो हाँ ನಾನು ಇದಿಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ನಾ ಅಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಜಿಮ್ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಹಾಂ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಆಯ್ತು this guy is calling me and telling I want to know whether it's your number okay fine we'll proceed this is fine you can see the data here okay now what I'll do I'll take this uh, any HTTP sniffers you people use postman क्या use किए हो fiddler postman use किए ठीक है आप postman use करो हम fiddler use करेंगे ठीक है अभी postman मुझे install करना है it's same okay those are all sniffer tools so यहाँ पे composer पे जाओ so I'm just telling I want to use HTTP GET. This is what I want to use, right? And then finally I'll tell execute. Execute करने से result आ गया. Just double click this. This is the response you got. Excuse me. Postman is better than this, right? Okay. But this existed before Postman. Getting it right? Postman पैदा होने से पहले ये था Fiddler, Telerik Fiddler, right, gentlemen? Now यहाँ पे देख सकते हो so this is I'm sorry this is JSON okay JSON data आ गया raw data this is how excuse me this is how you got the raw data right gentlemen so you can see the text view what is that you actually got header informations what was actually received got the idea right the request response everything is actually available for you to use थोड़ा आगे चलो Okay, so what is that request you sent? What is the response you received? Right? So you can see the complete information pertaining to this response. Right? So let me use JSON, but I don't want you to use Telerik. I want you to create a normal MVC view, but instead of hitting the action, you'll hit your service. Is that clear? So what will happen is, you will develop the view template. The data will come from elsewhere always for you. The data there will be a separate data service, right? So how you are going to design your applications generally I'm telling you. इसको बंद कर दूं? Okay, so I'm just talking about the general design, how you do it. There will be a separate service which is called as authentication service. Authentication service. There are many available. Okay, frameworks are available to develop this. Okay, you would have, I don't know, .NET itself has plenty. You would have heard about WIF, Women Interlink Foundation. Okay, gentlemen. So Windows Identity Foundation है, right? So used to be WIF बोलते. You know, there's a lot of trouble when you search. When Windows Workflow was released, it was called as WWF. You know, when you search what you get there, right? So now, you know, really simple syndication. Really simple syndication क्या है? Really simple syndication. इसको क्या बोलते हैं? RSS. जब आप सर्च करते हो, you'll get groups of people from our country, right? Okay. ये आके blog aggregator के लिए यूज करते हैं, RSS and Atom. Okay. So बहुत सारा confusions है, RSS and Atom. Okay. So you can use both on top of this REST, right? Okay, RSS Atom. So there are built-in classes available in .NET to handle RSS and Atom. Is it clear? Okay. So now you'll have your authentication service, right? You'll have your web application, the actual web application. Web application. Okay. Authentication service, authorization services will be there, right? Windows Identity Foundation is there. Authentication. There are several ways to authenticate. How and all you will authenticate a user? One, by using the username, password, what they supply. वो तो बहुत पुराना हो गया अभी. Next, the certificate thumbprints. Okay, so that means we know who are you. We allow you to log in directly. अभी तो देख रहे हो Google सब open कर रहे हो तो automatic open हो जाता है, because it is your certificate thumbprint, your biometric tokens, right? They want your biometric tokens. Then passport authentication. Okay, Windows Identity Foundation, right? Okay, so there are several ways to authenticate a user. So we're not going to stick with one. बहुत सारा होता है. Okay. So whenever an anonymous user makes a request to the web application, for authentication, you'll go here and then, okay, so you're going to get a token. Web application, this should not do the credential validations. Is that clear? Validation of credentials don't do here because it's already processing your request. It's doing too much of a huge job. Anonymous user reaching there, if somebody is reaching without token, redirecting there. This guy will tell whether he has to be allowed or not. If he's a right user, this guy will issue a token. Okay, so that means first time you visit HDFC Bank, they'll redirect you to authentication service and they'll issue a token. So next 100, request, you can use that token till the session expires. Getting it right? Okay, so don't make your application prisoner of security. There is one rule. Don't make application prisoner of security. Okay, so there's a standard rule. This is for prisoners, not this one. Okay, so authentication service. So don't have all the codes written here. This guy has to give you only the view, what is required, and the data, what you want to supply, should come from elsewhere. So there is a browser. The browser will make a request to web application, and what it will receive in return from here, what will it get in return from web application? It's going to get a view. When it sends a request, it's going to get a view. If it sends a request to this guy who's going to serve the data, your requests are going to be Ajax request with this guy. Hello? Ajax request. So what do you get in response? Here you get your data. So that means from the web application, the morning appointment, whatever we did, right? The table, table row, table style, everything will come from here. For actual data, you will actually hit here. This will be a data service generally. Sorry. This will give you a service. So this will be a web API, which will serve data for you. So who's going to hit the database end of the day? So who's going to, this guy is totally away from the data. Okay, so he is the one who maintains the model to communicate with the database. So this guy might have the models for the view, right? Okay, so actual data you'll hit here. Okay, that's how it's going to work. And for all your authentication, you'll have an authentication database where this guy will hit and get it from that repository. Is that clear? मैंने इसलिए 4 घंटा मांग रहा था उनसे. I was asking 4 hours for your test. Okay, trying to get this. They're telling no, 2 hours, no, 2 hours. No, if I'm confident on you all, I can give this and ask you all to do in 2 hours. No, I'm not confident on you. So my confidence is telling. Okay, right, gentlemen? यहाँ तक तो ठीक है? Because on top of this, you're not going to directly hit this, right? You might use a DAL layer, entity framework to communicate with this database. Understood, right? Okay, so you might not directly hit it. Okay. As of now, everything is fine. So this is how you're going to develop, right? So this is today's assignment, last assignment for you. Okay, if this comes out well, you'll get the full marks. Okay. This is the only one I'm going to check. Okay. So यहाँ beach में you bring the dal and all those. Okay, let's go. Excuse me. This is today's afternoon assignment. I'll check in the evening today. All your assignments. 2 घंटे में कर सकते हो आप लोग तो. Okay, we'll proceed. Okay, gentlemen. इसमें तो सब कुछ आ जाएगा ना? हाँ. Okay, guys. Excuse me. I didn't teach you authentication, username, password. You bring that as a service. Or whether he is using this username, password. The login page दे दो first. Getting it right? This is for assignment. Okay, टेस्ट में जो चाहिए वो भेज दिया ऑलरेडी क्वेश्चंस. ठीक है, इससे थोड़ा कम है. हाँ, थोड़ा ही कम. Okay. Now we'll move, gentlemen, if you all permit. Nothing, guys. If you remove this, it is enough. ये आपका टेस्ट बन गया. ये कनेक्शन नहीं है. अच्छा, आगे चलो. Excuse me. Now let's go here and see. Get हो गया. I'm using one more get. See here what I'm doing. So how easy it is, right? You're copying. I'm copying, pasting from your previous batch code, whatever I did. Previous batch ne Honeywell ka hai. Honeywell or Microsoft, I don't know. Jane, I don't know who were there. Okay, gentlemen, see what that I'm doing. I'm using a link query here. So if I pass an ID, for example, I tell I want 103, 103 will come there. So let me build it again, rebuild your solution. Just go here and tell what I'm looking for is 103. It has to fetch me that 103. Is that clear? You all are there? Wonderful. You people are? Yes. कुछ तो सीखा. Right, gentlemen? और आगे चलते हैं. Just see here. So for post, so I want to post the data. we'll see how you host your data. ऐसे ही कॉपी कर दिया, इधर डाल देंगे, we'll remove it. अभी क्या हुआ gentlemen? Post. So I want to post an employee. So how do you do a post now? Post means what you have to do. You have to create an HTML page, form tag, HTTP method post, give 3 text boxes, okay, with the IDs which matches these property name, okay, ID, first name and department, right? Develop that. And next what you do? After that, what do you do? Okay, then you for the post, okay, you need that input type submit. When you click on that, it will get it posted there. I don't have that much time to develop the form. I can put it HTML begin form and use that. You want me to bring a controller here itself? We can bring one HTML controller also here, but in that case, we should also bring the route config because that will have controller/action. This won't have action. Getting it right? You all are there? Okay. So instead of that, so there is a post available. We'll see whether post is working. I'll just go here, go to the composer. Composer किधर है? यहाँ पे क्या बनाएंगे हम? देखो इतना HTTP verbs है. Right? I'm interested in post in same employee. Right? So here I have to tell it's application/JSON what I'm trying to send. What is that request body you are going to send? I forgot. First name था ना? ID था. Okay जी. कॉपी कर लेते हैं. ID था और उसका वैल्यू 104 बना देंगे. कमा first name था. So what do we do? First name will give a name, Dhoni. Close this. Okay, जी? You're there? So this is what I just want to send. And there are other header information what I'm supposed to send. Application/JSON, the content type, right? कहीं पे है क्या? कहीं भी नहीं है वो. Anyhow, let it be. So we'll just, if it was somewhere, I could have copied it as it is. Anyhow, we can just tell what is the. इतना तो नहीं बता सकते हैं आपको. Time नहीं है. Actually, I was trying to create a controller like this and try using it. अच्छा जी, आगे चलते हैं. I think we'll just do it. It's enough. There's a fiddler. So composer, execute. कुछ गड़बड़ हो गया? No media type formatter is available to read the object of type employee. The data we sent. It's correct, right? Whatever we have sent. क्या हो गया? कुछ गड़बड़ है? Should I put quotes here also? It's not required for the. So content length and content type, right? Excuse me, help me. What do I send now? Application/JSON, right? कर रहे हैं. Okay, success हो गया. I have to tell I'm sending JSON. ये दिखा आपको? नहीं ये भेजा था. When you build MVC, all these are done implicitly for you by MVC. So here I'm sending a raw message and I sent a message here. यही मैसेज भेजा था हम. ठीक है जी? I'm just saying it worked fine. There is no problem. So how do you know it worked fine? Go to get. Get में body नहीं जाएगा ना? So execute. 200 मिल गया. Go see. Dhoni add हो गया है. Dhoni is there in that. Or you just go here and make a request. 104 and see. Dhoni है ना? Understood, right? Excuse me. You all are there? Okay, you all are. हाँ, पता है ना आप लोगों को. Great. आगे चलो. Okay. Now, I'll just go back here and take the next one. Go to the employee controller. The next one I'm just showing. So you'll have one web API doing one job, guys. If you have 10 tables and you want to do operations on that, you'll have 10 web APIs for it, 10 controllers for it. Got it? Okay. So यहाँ पे आ रहे हो. So we're just changing this to the employee data. So this is for put. Okay, in HTML, normal HTML, HTTP forms, submit button के लिए ऊपर you'll tell HTTP method is put. Is that clear? Put. Now, I want to change. अब Dhoni तो नहीं रहेगा ना? Dhoni is not there now, right? I rebuilt it. Dhoni won't be there now. So I'll just receive all the employees. Only 3 will be there. Because Dhoni was dynamically added and we removed it. Right. Now, I want to use put. How will you put now? Go to the composer. Okay. I'm telling, I want to change 103. This is your put, what you're actually using. And here I'm telling it is 103. I'm changing Rahul to Dhoni. This is 40. This is Mahendra. Execute करो. हो गया. जाके देखो. Again run it. Mahendra बन गया वो. Is it clear? Okay. So put. और एक और बताना है. This is helping me. From day one I could have done like this. Copy paste. और बहुत करता था मैं. I would have done more. Right? You all are there? Yes, sir. अच्छा, ठीक है जी. What am I doing here? I'm using delete. I'm using get. कौन सा get? ये get use कर रहे हैं. Is it clear? That will return a single employee which I'm removing. ठीक है? Okay. चले आगे. Guys, you all are understanding, right? अब तो हर चीज को हंस रहे हो अभी भी. Okay, ये तो simple है, straightforward है. Whatever you're seeing. Okay, delete. Delete कैसे करोगे? Delete करोगे. So इसको निकाल देंगे 103 को. जिसको भी चाहे निकाल दो. कुछ फर्क नहीं है आपको. Just go here and you'll have only 2 available. Is that clear? But remember, I want you to hit the real database. I'm doing something by using in-memory, right? I want you to just use an ORM layer or DAN layer, whatever you have already developed. Integrate that with your web API now. First practice kar lo ek hello world. And one more thing I want to show you here. If you give a different name, like this. Okay, if I give a different name like this, then you have to use an annotation explicitly telling whether it is used for, whether it's used for HTTP GET, or what you can do is you can use, if the names are different, then you have something called HTTP verbs. HTTP verbs are there, accept verbs, I'm sorry. Accept verbs, where I'm going to tell this is GET. Either use this or accept verbs. Is it clear? If the names are matching with the HTTP verbs, it's fine. If not, explicitly you have to tell it is get put or post delete by using accept verbs. So this I'll comment and keep because it's clashing with the other get there. Right, gentlemen? So that should be fine. I'll stop your recording.